Okay, so today I'm going to do a review about linear equations. And I've given you on this first page here all of the equations that you need to memorize. So the first one is slope-intercept form, that's y equals mx plus b. M is your slope and b is your y-intercept. So you need those two things in order to write an equation in slope-intercept form. The next one is point-slope form. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So m is the slope again, and then x1 and y1 is your point. So that is the only things that get replaced in this equation is m, x1, and y1. Okay. The next one is standard form. Ax plus by is equal to c. A, b, and c are integers, which means we can't have any fractions or decimals in this form. This form is pretty useful to find x and y intercepts as well. The last equation you need to memorize is your slope formula. So if you are given 2 points, to find the slope between them, you have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is also known, so slope, you can also call it average rate of change. Okay, so that is what slope is. It's your average rate of change. Let's go through our first example. What is the equation of the line that passes through 7, -1, and has a slope of 3? So first thing you need to notice is that you're given a point and a slope. So that means you can write it in point-slope form, which is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So the 7 here is your x1. The -1 is your y1. So your slope is also the 3, that's your m. So those are the only things that get replaced here. So instead of y1, I'm going to write -1. Instead of m, I'm going to write 3. And instead of x1, I'm going to write 7. So we can simplify this a little bit. This double negative here turns into a positive. So you have y plus 1 is equal to 3 times x minus 7. And on the Google form, please write this without any spaces in order to be marked correct. The second example I'm going to talk about is write the equation of the line in point-slope form that passes through these 2 points. In order to write an equation in point-slope form, we need a point and a slope. We have 2 points, but we need the slope. So if you remember, your slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you can label your points x1, y1, x2, and y2, and then just plug them in. So my y2 is 5, my y1 is 3. x2 is -2, x1 is -10. So 5 minus 3 is 2. -2 plus 10 is 8. So if I reduce that fraction, I get 1/4. So this is my m. Now I can, if you remember, point-slope form, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. It does not matter which point you use, as long as they replace y1 and x1 only. So your 2 equations that are possible here is y minus 3 is equal to 1/4 x minus -10, and we can clean that up to be x plus 10. Or our second equation can be y minus 5 is equal to 1/4 x minus -2, and again we can clean that one up to be x plus 2. Again, in the Google form, write one of these 2 equations without any spaces. The last example is going to be graphing. So graph the following linear equation. Now I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this, and they're both very, very different. So if you look, our equation 2x plus 5y is equal to -10. that is in standard form. So I can graph this using my x and y intercepts. Okay, so to find your x and y intercepts, so remember your x-intercept is where y equals 0. That's where the function crosses the x-axis. So in this equation, if I set y to 0, the only thing I have left is 2x is equal to negative 10. I divide by 2 on both sides, and I get x is equal to negative 5. So that means that my y-intercept as a coordinate point is negative 5, 0. If I look at the y-intercept, that's where x is equal to 0. So again, in this equation, if I set x to 0, the only thing I have left is 5y is equal to negative 10. Divide by 5 on both sides, and you get y is equal to negative 2. So the coordinate point of your y-intercept is 0, negative 2. So if I graph these 2 points, so negative 5, 0 is right here, and then 0, negative 2 is right there, then I can draw the line, and I don't have a ruler, so my line's going to be a little crooked. The second way to graph this line is to get this into slope-intercept form. So we want to get it into y equals mx plus b. So we are going to isolate our y. The first thing we get rid of is the 2x. So I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. That gives me 5y is equal to negative 2x minus 10. Then I divide by 5. So y is going to equal negative 2 over 5x minus 2. So this is where you begin. That's your y-intercept. So 0, negative 2. And then the negative 2 over 5, that's your slope. That's how you move. So remember, your slope is rise over run. So if you have a negative slope, instead of going up, it means you go down. So in this case, we will go down 2, and then to the right 5. Okay, we can draw our line between those 2 points, and it will look very similar to the line that we drew using the intercepts.